It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist.
Welcome to Naked, Nudist, and Naturist, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 172 today. Really glad that you're with us for this next hour or so. Lisa, Frank, Lisa Wednesday extravaganza, just the two of us. That's not really true today. We're bringing some people in, but no interviews. We have a couple of guests coming in later. We have a story today. Marc from France has written a story featuring Monroe Stone, the private eye. And he has a couple of additional characters in there by the names of Lisa and Jennifer, if you can believe that. So he's written the story in 4 parts, and we will read parts 1 and 2 today. And then we'll read parts 3 and 4, most likely next Wednesday, possibly this Saturday, depending on scheduling. But we're looking at doing the parts 3 and 4 of Marc's story on Wednesday of next week, which will be episode 174. So you have that to look forward to today. Lisa Monroe is getting her coffee yet again. It's not her first cup by any means. Not her first rodeo, not her first cup of coffee, and yes, I'll pay for that remark later on, but anyway, she'll be walking through the studio door in just a moment, and then we will kick off our segment. Lots to talk about today. We have a couple of letters we want to share with you from listeners, as well as Marc's story. Marc from France, a gifted writer, loves naturism, loves promoting it in a very positive way, and so you are in for a big-time treat today. How about that? So come on in, as I like to set the setting and get you in the mood here and know what we're all about, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons, just enjoying everything that we've been given in life. So come on in. The pool feels like $1 million. The hot tub is going full bore at 104 degrees. The grill is going full blast. And by the way, as I'm looking out the window here, which oversees the lanai where the grill is, guess who our guest grill master is today? I am sure that you remember Paul Z. Walker. He's been on our show many times. He's part of the great naturist fiction triumvirate. They publish various books, anthologies on naturist fiction, and he's a gifted writer in his own right. Well, Paul Z. Walker flew over from the Netherlands just in time to fire up the grill and get everything ready for us today. How about that? So we thank Paul Z. Walker for that. We have fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside, including espresso. A machine was donated to us by one of our listeners up in Canada. If you leave the lanai area, the screened-in area, you'll find a hammock out the left side door, donated by a married couple. They sent it to us. Some putting greens out back, also donated, and some bocce ball action on the far right, also donated. You come back in the pool area in the back left corner, we have our cigar bar. Just help yourself, and we have everything else that you need. Extra towels, extra lotion, extra chairs. If you brought nothing at all, and again, you're just driving down the street on your way to point A to point B, and you see all these cars here, and you're wondering, wait a minute, it's a little afternoon on a Wednesday? What's going on? Oh, shoot, that's right. It's a Lisa Frank Wednesday extravaganza. I'd better get in there and see what they're doing, but, I didn't bring anything. Oh, wait a minute. He said to come on in, and that's right. So if you brought nothing at all, come on in. Come on in and enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. Those who do this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to put into words, but it goes back to what we say a lot. We were born that way. We were intended to live that way. So when we do, good things tend to happen. We tend to feel a lot better about ourselves. The restrictions of the clothing are gone, but also the mental, emotional, nonsensical jazz is also removed. And you just are you, and I'm me, and she is her, and so on and so forth. And we just have a good time enjoying each other's company, not trying to outdo each other with the fanciest shirt, the fanciest suit, dress, pair of pants, whatever. We're just here enjoying each other's time. So we are glad that you are here for episode 172. And Lisa just walked in as I finished that last sentence. So I don't know about you, but as I'm talking here, I thought I heard some music creeping under my voice. Can you hear it? Let's listen together for a moment. Oh, yes, I can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it, too. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the completely over-the-top, fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the one of a kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Oh, shoot. I was trying very hard to
I
distract
thought so.
you.
I suspected something out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't look.
And you turned your head away from the microphone as much as you could without messing up. Oh, you chicken.
Okay, full confession. What were you doing?
I'm not telling.
I detected movement, and I kind of glanced a little, but not enough to pick anything up. And I quickly glanced back to the mic. I am not going to look at you while I do the intro. I've learned that lesson over and over. You'd think I'd learn it and be done, but no, I've had to learn it a few times. So
I'll catch you.
No confession as to what you did?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll do it again.
All right. So I have to ask you this question now.
What?
And I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but so you walk in the studio, obviously clothes free, because that's what we do here.
Yes.
You have a really good tan going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, because it's cold and I've not been outside. Did you just go outside when it's cold anyway?
I might have gone out for 10 or 15 minutes and then run back in, but only when it was like 68 or 70, something like that. I cannot, I can't go lower than that, or I would become an ice cube.
So 68 is good enough to get an all over tan for you?
Yes, I mean, yeah, well, if you go out and stay maybe 10 minutes aside and you keep that up, if you already have a tan, then yeah, you'll keep the tan, so to speak.
Okay, all right, well, a tan looks good on you. I hope that's not inappropriate to say that.
No, thank you, because I think actually most people look a little healthier if they don't look quite so pale. Some people are normally pale, and that's fine. They, some gorgeous Irish girl with red hair and pale skin is gorgeous. I mean, the same thing with the guys, but I think that healthy glow is kind of what comes from being out in the sun. And what is more than what we want is to be healthy and having fun in the sun. So
every time we bring something like this up, it always comes back to we were born that way. We were meant to live this way. So when we do, good things happen, including even looking better now, even looking healthier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win, and you never lose with naturism, right?
No, we don't. And I'm a Leo, so the sun is my thing, and so I've believed that all of my life. So it's it's good. When I was born, I was premature, and the air conditioning system in the hospital had gone out, and I had to be put in an incubator. It was 100 degrees outside. They put me in a warm incubator in front of an open window in a hot hospital. Now, you tell me why I don't like cold.
All right, so you just admitted that you were born, so the rumors that you were made in a lab or that you're AI, those are totally false?
Those are totally false. I am not AI.
All right, just putting it out there for those who are still, people are people.
Yeah, well, people think what they want, so it's okay.
As Lou Rawls sung, we've done this before. People are people, and they all have their, fill in the blank at that point. Anyway.
Oh, we digress.
All right. We have a letter from Brian today, and I will go ahead and read the first paragraph, if you're okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Hello, Frank and Lisa. And I got excited, like, okay, he's got it in the right order. But after he says, hello, Frank and Lisa, he said, no special placement, just a casual greeting. Okay, we'll let that go.
Smart man.
I am nude, of course, as I write this, which I always am when I listen to your episodes. Well, that's great to hear. That
Yes.
we're living clothes free, living for all the right reasons. while we do the show and while you listen. I have a
Mhm.
question that has been nagging at me. I have never been embarrassed about being nude in front of anyone, and I never realized it wasn't, in quotation marks, normal until much later. I didn't grow up around nudism. It wasn't shunned, I guess, but it was very foreign to me. And if you want to take his second and final paragraph.
When I was a kid, I am guessing around 7 years old, I started taking my clothes off in the woods and walked nonstop, feeling the sunlight and breeze. And to this day, it still feels amazing. I have been told many things about my adolescent behavior, negative, but I still love being nude 24/7. My question is, do a lot of nudists not feel embarrassed about being nude?
Very interesting. I have an answer to that question, at least as it applies to me. I'm sure everybody has their own answer. Do you want to tackle it first, or do you want me to go ahead?
You go ahead.
All right. I am never embarrassed, ever, ever, as in ever, about being nude and having people see me. I also do not flaunt it. I don't walk out down Main Street and say, "Hello, everybody. I am naked. Please look at me," and I'm not embarrassed. No, but if I'm seen nude, the only concern I ever have is I don't want somebody else to say, "Oh my gosh, there's a naked guy there." Call the police, whatever else. Or if they know me, like Frank, I can't believe you're naked in your house. I don't want people to look at me negatively, and that's the fight that we fight every day. This is normal. I should be looking negatively at you because you have your clothes on. And sometimes I've said that to people, and we've had interesting discussions around that. But to be embarrassed, whether it's at the beach, in my backyard, at my pool, in the doctor's office, I got some stories there I could tell. They told me to take my clothes off, and I did. And a nurse would turn around, I'd take them off. She'd turn around and say, "Oh my God, you're naked."
Surprise.
She told me to take my clothes off. She said, "Well, I meant after I left the room." I didn't know that. So seriously, I didn't know that. So take your clothes off. Okay, here we go. So no, not embarrassed at all. It's never a feeling I've ever had, ever. I mean, literally never been embarrassed about that. How about you?
No, I can say that honestly. Maybe it's because when I first was really naked in front of people, it was with a bunch of my girlfriends, like as I've often told, on the top of the dorm, the roof of the dorm, getting suntan. So, it was just us. And I mean, I did it in the locker rooms, and actually in behind the scenes when there was a dance recital or whatever, you'd be changing costumes. So but I never felt embarrassed about it. It was just something you did. And so, no, I've never felt embarrassed at all about being naked in front of people.
And we've both been seen numerous times in regular naturism spaces, but also not.
Yes.
It's just, but my mind always goes to, I hope they're okay with this. I didn't mean for them to see me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an important point I brought out before. I have no problem being seen naked, but I don't go out of my way to be seen naked, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I think we've talked about this before that
Yeah.
as naturists, it's our responsibility to control where we want to be naked and where we know it's proper to be naked. A lot of people go, "Well, I'm entitled to be naked anywhere I want to be," and push the envelope. No, you're not. Unfortunately, because the laws will not allow that, and society won't allow that. So you have to balance what you want with what you know is the proper thing to do. And some
Mhm.
people don't want to play that game, but I think it's the only way to go.
Yeah, so never embarrassment here.
No.
So we're putting this out to the listeners. If you have something to say, you can weigh in. Lots of ways to get us. Our email, nakedforevermore@gmail.com. Reach Spotify, website, on our YouTube page, Patreon page. Are you embarrassed when you're seen nude? I'm guessing everybody's going to say no, but that's okay. Weigh in. We'd like to hear your thoughts.
But
You had
there's
something
one.
else to say?
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to say because we get a lot of letters of people who, are just getting into naturism. They've been nude at home. They're now kind of venturing out. They're starting to feel comfortable to do that after listening to the show. And they go to their first nudist resort. And you hear from them the nervousness that they have when they get there.
Hang on one second. Before you continue on, we have a couple of guests who are going to participate in the next segment.
Uh-huh.
They just arrived. I'm going to go in the lobby and get them. Finish your story, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. And I was going to say that these people who, they drive up to the naturist community and they definitely are nervous. They're apprehensive. They're not sure what they're going to find. And they get out of the car and they walk through the gates, and suddenly they find themselves in a world that they didn't expect. And when they take those clothes off, it's as if a miracle happens, and all of that embarrassment, all that fear, that apprehension just fades away because they are with people who understand what they're doing and they've been there before. So I think that there's a real lack of embarrassment once you make that transition from textile to unclothed, and that's when the embarrassment certainly goes away.
Yeah, they're here now. we don't. I'll introduce you folks in a minute. We don't have your mics on yet, but yeah, I've never been embarrassed. I could easily, if somebody knocks on my front door, I could easily go to the door, open it, say, hi, can I help you? Totally nude. And I would literally have no trouble with that. I don't do that because they might have a problem with that. It's the old bugaboo in naturism, clothes free living for all the right reasons, not doing anything untoward or sexual, whatever else. I'm just living the life I've chosen to live, which is the life we were supposed to live. Everybody, we've explained that before. So I don't do that. That's what I mean. I don't do that. But if it should happen, if somebody should walk in on me and I'm clothes free, no embarrassment at all.
No.
Any final thoughts on that before we
Nope,
bring
I
these fine
happen to
people in?
agree. No embarrassment, because that's who we are and what we are, and
Yeah.
we should be who we are all the time.
Yeah, well said. All right, we have a couple of people sitting with us now. We are going to read Marc from France. We've mentioned his name at least once or twice on this show throughout 172 episodes. Do you think that's
A few
basically
times?
true? Yeah,
A
okay.
few times.
And he's written a new story, and this one is called The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. And it's in 4 parts. We're going to do parts 1 and 2 today. We'll do parts 3 and 4 on next week's show on Wednesday, 174. And so we brought a couple people in to handle some of the lines. There are 2 women in this story. And Lisa, you're going to play the role of one of them?
Yes.
Okay. And you're also going to serve as a narrator partially. And I'll serve as a narrator. But when we get to the actual parts of, are you doing, there's a Lisa part and there's a Jennifer part. You're doing, Jennifer has the most lines, but you're doing.
Yeah, I'll do Lisa.
Okay. You're doing Lisa. And
Not
so
a
the lady.
stretch.
The lady we have with us will do Jennifer. The gentleman we have with us will do Monroe, Monroe Stone. That's what it's all about, the detective. So against our better judgment, let me turn their microphones on and welcome to the show. Bubba is here to play Monroe Stone. Bubba, good morning. How are you, sir? Doggone some gun. Glad to be here, boys and girls. Clothes free living for the right some gun reasons. I'm ready to go. I studied my lines. I can do it from memory, but I'll go ahead and read the part if you're okay with that. Well, yeah. Either way, as long as you deliver your lines, you're okay. And perhaps even further against our judgment, recently we had Aria Andre in with Barbara to sing All I Ask of You from Phantom of the Opera. Luckily for everybody involved, Aria Andre is not here, but Barbara is. She's going to play the role of Jennifer today. Good morning, Barbara. How are you? Oh, I just love being here. Thank you so much for having me in. Okay. All right, Lisa.
Be fun.
If you're ready, we'll start this little shindig off. Are you ready? Do you need to practice your lines or go into makeup and hair, or what are we doing here?
No worries about makeup and hair. I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, let's kick off with some music. Marc from France, The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. Here we go. The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist is the story. Part 1, The Red Dawn. Bubba, are you set to go? I was born ready, you some guns. Anytime you start the story, when my lines come up, I'll be ready to go. All right. Barbara, how about you? I was born ready too. I think maybe Bubba and I were meant for each other, but we'll save that for another day. Yeah, please do. Yeah, let's just. Lisa, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. I think it's a good idea.
Here. All right. I'll do the first paragraph and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
The sun rose over sunny glades like it had a personal grudge. By 9:15 a.m., the thermometer outside the community lodge already read 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and the air felt thick enough to chew. Normally, the resort's wide, palm-shaded lawns and generous slatherings of SPF 50 kept everyone golden and serene. Today, the place looked like a convention of freshly boiled lobsters had checked in.
Monroe Stone leaned against the wooden railing of the lodge porch, bare feet planted on warm planks, arms crossed over his chest. He watched a cluster of residents gather near the bulletin board. Old Mr. Delgado, 78, wiry and usually the calmest man in the yoga circle, was gingerly patting aloe onto his wife's shoulders while she winced.
"Monroe," called Jennifer Blaze as she strode up the path, tablet glowing in her hand. Her skin already had the faint flush of early burn, but she moved with the same confident swing she always did. "It's worse than we thought. Not just the communal tubs in the rec room, every personal bottle is gone. Cabins, golf cart glove boxes, even the little spray ones people stash in beach bags. Someone hit the place like a professional." Monroe tilted his head. "Oh, SPF 50? "Every single one. The only survivors are 2 ancient SPF 8 tubes from the gift shop and a half-empty bottle of baby oil someone was using for creative massage."
Lisa Kane appeared behind Jennifer, wide-brimmed sun hat clamped on, sarong knotted tightly about her waist. 3 months in sunny glades had softened her textile edges, so she no longer averted her eyes during conversations. But the sarong stayed when the UV index climbed. She clutched her notebook like a shield. "This isn't random," Lisa said in a low voice. "This benefits from a community of angry, peeling naturists. Someone once is miserable enough to listen to offers, land offers, maybe."
Monroe's gaze drifted past the pool toward the back fence where the mangroves began. A single bright pink feather fluttered against the chain link, caught on a barb, then another a few meters away. The breeze carried the faintest trace of coconut. He pushed off the railing. "Let's woke."
The three of them followed the feather trail past the meditation garden, around the outdoor showers, and into the quieter acreage near the property line. Mr. Patel's exotic pet therapy enclosure came into view. Empty. The large net that once stretched over the shallow pond had a storm-torn hole big enough for a small helicopter.
Lisa stopped short.
"The flamingos!"
"Escaped 2 nights ago," Jennifer said. "Mr. Patel was inconsolable, said they were supposed to lower everyone's blood pressure with their graceful waiting. Instead, they waited right out." Monroe crouched beside a patch of soft mud, more feathers, and then empty sunscreen bottles, a dozen at least, some punctured, while lotion smeared across pink feathers that had clearly been used as napkins. The coconut scent was stronger here, sweet and unmistakable.
Jennifer let out a startled laugh.
"They're sunscreen bandits." Lisa stared at a particularly greasy flamingo print in the mud.
They like smell."
"Flamingos are tactile obsessives," Monroe said, standing. "They preen constantly with oil from their uripagile glands to keep feathers vibrant. Coconut must have registered as premium upgrade fuel. They didn't steal to sabotage us. They stole to spoil themselves."
A distant honk floated from the mangroves, then another, closer. Jennifer's eyes narrowed.
So we've got a flock of pink kleptomaniacs running loose with our UV protection? How do we get it and them back before half the community looks like they lost a fight with a tomato?"
Monroe glanced at the sun, already merciless.
"We give them something they want even more than stolen lotion." Lisa raised an eyebrow.
"Which is?" He smiled, small, calm, the smile that always meant trouble.
"May." And that is the end of part 1. The story is The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. Part 1, The Red Dawn. We'll get to part 2 in a little bit. Bubba, so far so good. You think it's amateur night here? You call me, and I'm going to do yourself a good job every doggone time. Okay. And Barbara, a very good job. Thank you very much. Oh, good. Is that it? Am I leaving? No. We still have part two. Oh, good, because I practiced part two. I'm ready when you are. Okay. All right. We have another story we want to get to first, and we will, and then we'll get to part two of Marc's story, Marc from France. Before we do, Lisa, just a reminder, we are the official podcast of the American Association for Nude Recreation. Are you a member? If so, that is absolutely great. But if not, you can become a member right now. Just go to AANR.com, follow the navigation through the membership, and within moments, just like Lisa Monroe is and just like I am, you will be a fully fledged member of the American Association for Nude Recreation. Lisa Monroe, how is that for a deal on a Wednesday afternoon?
It's a very good deal, and Anna is well worth the look into their website and join, because they need all the naturists they can get. It's a cause that we need to fight for.
Absolutely. You are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 172 today. So far, we've kept the show on the rails, Lisa. I felt it wavering a bit, but I think we're still okay. We're still on the tracks.
And I'm hoping we're still okay. Yeah, but I believe we're steering ourselves back rather well.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Feel like we're on a roller coaster, and maybe it wasn't properly engineered, so we're kind of holding on for dear life here. But
yeah, sometimes I wonder if structure is not better for us. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, we do have a structure here. We don't want to
yes,
mislead people. Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
And these letters are very important from our members, because they tell the story in naturism. So that's why we love to do them.
So we have a letter from Jonathan. And Jonathan is also a blog writer. He had been writing and then he stopped. You'll hear why he restarted. And we're always looking for blog writers, really good writers who don't use AI to generate their stuff.
Exactly.
That's nowheresville, man, as they probably say somewhere in life. But
as a writer, I abhor AI.
Yeah, for sure. So a letter from Jonathan. I'll start off. Hello, Lisa, Frank, and the best behind the scenes helper ever, Jennifer.
Here.
He said that with such enthusiasm and an exclamation point. I'll let him get away with putting me second. You're okay with being first, I'm guessing.
Oh, well, he's being just gentleman. What can I tell you?
It's hard for me to say Lisa Frank without thinking of the stationery company from my childhood, but I just had to write it that way. Okay, well, so he gave us a valid reason why I'm not first. He's fully accepted now in these parts. Even has a laughing face at the end with tears coming out. He's laughing so hard.
Yes.
All right. What is Lisa Frank, a stationery company?
It was a stationery company.
Oh.
I vaguely remember it. And, the word frank was often used for postage, so you would frank something if you worked in a company. And I don't know if it came from this or how that originated. It might be, if somebody knows, that'd be great. But I vaguely remember hearing this Lisa Frank stationery company, because back when we used to have stationery, and I love stationery. So anyway.
Well, see, that's why I do this show, because I learn amazing things. I didn't know that. You're obviously much smarter than I am.
Oh, we're just figuring that out. No.
Anyway.
I'm kidding.
The second paragraph is yours, and it might be the second and final paragraph you ever read, so do a good job.
Oh, you'll get cards and letters. Anyway, I've been listening to your show since you began in 2023, and I haven't missed an episode until I took the big nude boat and lost cell service out at sea. I'll catch up. Unfortunately, I don't listen in the nude because I listen while I work, but I enjoy living vicariously clothes-free through your lovely voices.
Oh, well, that's very nice. He just went on the big nude boat, I think the recent one. So he started listening to us in 2023. Went on the big nude boat just a few weeks ago and lost cell service there. So
wow.
You do realize, instead of saying, wow, you must be smarter than I am, paying you a compliment, I could have said, wow, you must be older than I am to know that information. That would have been mean, but it would have kept me from getting, what's the word I want to use, knocked around by Lisa Monroe. So, see, I'm trying to be nice, and you come back with, I don't know what to do around here. It's always 2 against 1 around here, so I tend to lose.
Yes, just whine away. Just whine away.
All right, continuing on with the letter from Jonathan. I especially enjoyed your interview with Dave and Gary from First Coast Naturists, which I joined a few years ago. In fact, you were at my first event with them. Wow. Remember, I
Yes,
went
I
there
remember.
back in
Yeah.
23. I remember seeing you from a distance and in a shadow. So to this day, I can only imagine you as a shadowy figure across the pool. Well, I've been called worse.
I was gonna say shadowy figure might fit you, but that's okay.
That Frank Stone, he's a shadowy figure across the
Yes, he
pool.
is.
I wish that your equipment had been working that day and I could have had an interview with you then. That's true. I there was one cord I needed and left it on the studio floor.
Yes.
Didn't make it to First Coast Natures. My own fault. We have one more paragraph. Take it from there.
I'm writing to thank you for inspiring me to pick up my blog called The Orthodox Nudist, which that link is in the show notes. Again, I started 8 years ago, but let it sit for 3 years due to life circumstances. I always wanted to get back to it, but I made many excuses. Hearing your consistent twice a week broadcast made me realize that once a week blog posts aren't so hard if one makes it a priority. You two never make excuses. I started posting again late last year, and I've been mostly consistent ever since.
Oh, very good. We appreciate that. We really do. And we did a little segment on that, I think in January of 25. We don't accept excuses. We don't make excuses. We never have. What's that expression I came up with? When at first your behavior you begin to excuse, that is the moment you begin to lose.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some words of wisdom occasionally come from me. How about that?
No, occasionally. No, actually, often. We tease Frank around here, but he's actually sort of smart.
Yeah. Well, I'll accept
Kinda.
that. Yeah. Jeez. Somebody once told me he had said something, and I said, you're a special human being, kind of being funny. He said, I'm so special, they call me Ed. So I thought, I should start using that around here more often. Anyway, so Jonathan is going to be on the show. We don't have all the dates set yet. I don't think. Anyway, Jennifer's handling that. But yeah, so the orthodoxnudist.wordpress.com, link in the show notes. And we served as inspiration to get his writing again. It's like, if these two can nail 2 shows a week, I can certainly be more consistent with my writing. And he says, mostly consistent ever since, which is better than 3 years of no writing at all, right?
Very much so. And I've actually gone on his blog, and it's a lot of fun. He has some great ideas, great articles that he's done. So everybody needs to go check him out.
All right. Oh, very good. Let's get back to the story now. From Marc from France, he wrote a story called The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. We did part 1, The Red Dawn. And now we will do part 2, which is The Bait, and then parts 3 and 4 next week. Bubba, are you all set to continue on reading the part of Monroe Stone? As some gun told you, I was born ready. Let's get it on, as they say, some of my buddies in the music business. Let's get it on. I'm ready to rock and roll. Wow, okay. Barbara, how about you? I'm ready. I love a show business, so let's, as Bubba said, let's get it on. Okay. All right, Lisa Monroe, part 2, the debate. Are you ready to go? I should have asked.
I certainly am.
All right, you want to take the first couple of paragraphs there?
I sure will. Monroe stood in the middle of the sun-drenched clearing, a bottle of coconut oil in one hand and a small, resigned smile on his face. The kiddie pool, bright blue plastic, normally reserved for toddlers splashing during family hour, sat filled to the brim behind him. A handful of overripe banana peels lay scattered in an inviting trail leading straight to the water's edge. Floating on the surface were 3 decoy sunscreen bottles, their labels carefully peeled off so the birds wouldn't get confused and fly off with the real bait. Jennifer crouched behind a cluster of palmettos 20 meters away, net in hand, earpiece tucked discreetly under her hair. Lisa knelt beside her, holding a small bucket of thawed shrimp they'd raided from the kitchen freezer as Plan B incentive.
Are you sure about this? Jennifer whispered into the comms. You look like a human coconut eclair.
Monroe's voice came back calm and low.
Better me than Mrs. Delgado turning into a second-degree crisp. Besides, no pockets, no pretenses. If they trust anything right now, it's bear skin and coconut. Lisa stifled a laugh.
This is officially the weirdest stakeout I have ever been on,
Focus.
Monroe murmured. He uncapped the oil, poured a generous palmful, and began methodically working it into his arms, shoulders, chest, and every inch he could reach without contortion. The scent bloomed instantly, sweet and heavy on the still air. He lay down on the towel they had spread beside the pool, arms relaxed at his sides, eyes half closed against the glare. To any passing flamingo, he was just another sun worshiper taking it easy. A very shiny one.
Minutes ticked by, sweat beaded under the oil, mixing it with slow rivulets. The sun pressed down like a warm hand. Monroe breathed slow, letting his senses open the way only years of naturism could teach. The rustle of palm fronds, distant laughter from the pool area, the faint mineral tang of the nearby tidal flats. Then a soft, curious honk.
One flamingo stepped out from the mangroves, long legs tentative. Its feathers were streaked with dried white lotion. It looked like it had tried to give itself racing stripes. The bird tilted its head, beak twitching in the air. Another appeared, then three more. They moved in that awkward, graceful way flamingos have, half ballerina, half drunk stilt walker, drawn by the familiar coconut cloud rolling off Monroe's skin.
Jennifer's whisper crackled in his ear. They're circling, bold ones coming in at your 10 o'clock. Monroe stayed statue still. The lead bird stretched its neck, beak hovering inches from his shin. It sniffed, then very delicately touched the oiled skin with the tip of its beak. A tiny dab of oil transferred. The flamingo froze, tasting. Then it let out a soft, pleased croon and stepped closer.
Two others joined, dipping beaks toward the banana peels first, then venturing nearer to the pool. One bold female actually waded into the shallow water, splashing playfully as she investigated the floating bottles.
Lisa whispered.
They're relaxing, like they think this is the world's weirdest spa.
Almost, Monroe breathed. Wait for the whole flock.
The clearing filled slowly. 8 flamingos now, maybe 9. They milled around the pool, honking softly to each other, preening with oily beaks occasionally bumping into Monroe's legs, like oversized pink cats demanding attention. One particularly greedy bird tried to nibble the edge of his towel. Monroe didn't flinch.
Jennifer's voice tightened. They're all here. I count 10. Net's ready. On 3, Monroe said. Slow, no sudden moves.
He counted silently. On 3, Jennifer rose, net held low and wide. Lisa moved in from the opposite side, bucket raised just enough to tempt. The flamingos froze for one heartbeat. Then the boldest one honked in alarm and flapped. Chaos erupted in glorious pink slow motion. Wings beat, water splashed, banana peels flew. Monroe rolled to his feet in one smooth motion, arms spread not to threaten but to guide, his oiled skin catching the sunlight like a beacon.
Easy, easy, he called, voice steady and warm. Nobody's getting hurt, just time to go home. Jennifer swept the net in a gentle arc, catching 2 birds at once. They squawked indignantly, but settled quickly once they realized the net was soft mesh, not a cage. Lisa tossed a handful of shrimp into the enclosure's open gate 50 meters away. The scent cut through the coconut haze. Heads swiveled, hunger won over the panic. Before we go on, Bubba, do you want to? We have another character coming up, Mr. Patel. I forgot. Do you want to do that one? No, I didn't practice that line. That's all yours. Okay. All right, Lisa, continue on.
One by one, drawn by food and Monroe's calm presence blocking any escape route, the flamingos waddled toward the gate. The last one, a lanky juvenile still half covered in smeared FPF, paused at the threshold looking back at Monroe and gave a single, almost apologetic honk before stepping inside. Mr. Patel appeared at the fence line, eyes shining, already rolling, fresh steel cable.
My babies, you brought them back.
Monroe wiped a smear of lotion from his thigh, grinning.
They brought themselves. We just provided the right invitation. Jennifer lowered the net, laughing. I've seen corporate team builders less effective. Lisa stared at the now peaceful flock inside the repaired enclosure.
They were really just following their noses. No malice, no sabotage.
Monroe nodded, the oil beginning to feel sticky in the heat. Sometimes the biggest threats are the ones we invent. Truth is best uncovered, even when it wears pink feathers.
But as they turned back toward the lodge, Lisa's gaze caught on something glinting near the mangrove. A small black device half buried in the mud. A tiny camera lens stared up at them, red recording light still blinking.
She froze.
Monroe!
He followed her look. His easy smile faded. Looks like our flamingos weren't the only ones watching. And there you go. Marc from France wrote this story called The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. We did part 1 earlier, The Red Dawn, and that's the end of part 2, The Bait. And Bubba, thank you very much for coming in and doing that. It's my pleasure. I enjoy community theater. Whatever time I get a chance to perform, you just call me and I'll come on down. All right. Can you come in next Wednesday for parts 3 and 4? Consider it done. My backside will be here as well as the rest of me. Okay. Barbara, same thing. First of all, thank you. And can you make it next week? Oh, I'm the same as Bubba. I love entertaining. Yes, I'll be here next week as well. All right. Okay, you guys can sit here or take off, whatever you want to do. We're going to move on and finish the show up. But thank you again. Yeah, as I mentioned, you're welcome. I'll see you next week. All right. Barbara, thank you as well. Oh, thank you. It's always my pleasure. Okay. Lisa Monroe, any comments on Marc's story or these two fine people who are leaving our studio?
Well, I think that Bubba and Barbara did a fabulous job, and I'm not sure that I did very well, but anyway, I'm not really good at voices, but I must say, Marc, you scored again. This is just so beautifully written and a lot of fun, and I'm loving every second of reading this.
I suppose I should say this, so Marc knows this, so we're not just playing around. There were times when you were reading the story, before we got together to do the show, you'd write and say, this Marc, he just gets better and better all the time. He's truly a gifted writer. This guy is great. And then you read a line to me that particularly stuck out to you. And I think you did it a couple thousand times just to get to the end of part 2. So yeah, thank you, Marc. You are a terrific writer, a lover of naturism. You spread it everywhere. And we can't wait till next week, parts 3 and 4. And Lisa, I know you agree.
I agree very much. And it's a great story. So I think everyone's going to enjoy the next 2 segments.
So apparently we have somebody who's been videotaping or somehow recording this. And part 3 is called The Hidden Lens. And part 4 is The Open Circle. And that will conclude the entire story, The Vanishing Sunscreen Heist. So they thought it was just the flamingos. Mm-hmm. There could be somebody else involved. What do you think about that?
There could be. And, there are a lot of sneaky people around, so you never know.
Isn't that a technique? Isn't that a technique in writing what is called a hook or leave them wondering or wanting to come back?
Yes, it's called, oh, shoot. You would ask me that. But it's a cliffhanger, basically. It's called a cliffhanger. I had to stop and think a second. But yeah, and it's a wonderful tool. It kind of keeps people interested. You can't play it too much. You kind of play it a little bit every now and then, but definitely it's a way to keep your reader interested.
Yep. Well, I certainly can't wait to get back.
I can't either.
Who's been hiding in the back with this camera going?
Yes.
I have a feeling we're going to soon find out.
I think we will.
All right. Well, Lisa Monroe, another great job today on episode 172. And if you promise to stay, and I mean like 100%, how they say no holds barred, but I'm going to say no clothes barred. Actually, all clothes barred.
Mm-hmm.
Stay 100% naked as a jaybird, nude as can be, clothes free for all the right reasons till Saturday. We'll have you in for Saturday's show. Is that a deal?
I think that's a very good deal. So I will definitely be here.
All right. We'll see you on Saturday. Have a great few days.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys, for coming in for this play.
The very terrific Lisa Monroe, and she left the studio just now the same way she entered. I almost made a comment about it when she entered, but I thought I better stick to the business at hand here. But kind of reminds me of, I saw this play 10 or 11 years ago on Broadway, a Broadway musical called Chicago. I'm sure you're familiar with that, some of the music anyway. And that's what it reminded me of, maybe like a cabaret kind of move, perhaps channeling her inner Liza Minnelli or something like that. But that's what it reminded me of. Lisa Monroe just does it all around here. She dances in, she dances out, and then does the show. But outside of those two dance moves, the beginning and the end, she does a whole bunch. All of our website work, everything you see on that website, that's hers. She creates it all, and I do mean all by herself. She does all of the memes that you see, not only the ones on social media, but the ones you see on YouTube, you see on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you go for your podcast. Anytime you see a meme pop out of the studio, it was created by Lisa Monroe, and somehow, some way, she handles all of the merchandise too. She does all of it, all of the ordering, all of the sending, all of the packaging, and dealing with companies. And order came in wrong, she'll have to fix that, and get on the case of the owner of the third party, and it does it all. And we appreciate Lisa Monroe very much. Well, we hope that you enjoyed today's show. Marc from France, again a gifted writer, wrote a play about Monroe Stone, of the Private Eye, and we brought a couple people in. Hope you enjoyed them as well. And of course, Lisa's playing the part in narration too. And we'll get to parts 3 and 4 of that, most likely on Wednesday of next week. 174 will be the episode. But also, what an interesting question posed early on. Do nudists ever get embarrassed when they're seen in the nude? I had never thought of that question before. It's just never popped up, and nobody has ever asked me before. Interested in what you think. On the one hand, why would we ever be embarrassed for being nude? You're not embarrassed going to the grocery store wearing a shirt and a pair of pants. So why would we as nudists/naturists be embarrassed when we're seen nude? And maybe you are. Maybe some people are. So we're not casting any aspersions. I've just never heard that question before, to me. Other people, those who do not live the naturist life, yeah, I've heard them being embarrassed. Somebody walks in on them right after they took their clothes off to put their swimsuit on or something. Somebody catches them naked, and all heck breaks loose. And I can't believe you did that. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, we understand. We've heard that story many times. It's been played out in movies and television shows for comedic effect many times. But in the naturism world, that's not even a thing, at least not to me, and I'm guessing not to most people. But if it is, let us know. We'd certainly like to hear your comments on that, on Marc's story, on the other letter that we read today. Just let us know. Lots of ways to get us. Our email address again, nakedforevermore@gmail.com. You can also reach us on our Spotify page. You can reach us on our YouTube page, our website, our Patreon page, Naked Nudists and Naturists. Just fire us up. We are so blasted easy to find. It's almost incredible. And yes, Twitter and Blue Sky, forgot to put those out there. We are highly reachable, and we do pay attention to what you say and what you think, because we do this show for you. We don't do it in the vacuum in the basement and say, geez, I hope they like that one. No, we tailor it to what you want, what we believe you want, and you've given us great feedback, and so we're just going to keep moving and grooving, doing Naked Nudists and Naturists, but do let us know what you think from time to time as time allows. And, of course, if you get a chance to like, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on YouTube, it only takes about 5 seconds to do all those 3 things. Click, 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 and you're done. Like, review, subscribe. We'd appreciate that very much. And you give us a rating, 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. Just thought I'd point that out. We'd appreciate that very much as well. Well, come back for Saturday's show, which will be episode 173. And as I mentioned, our special guest will be Jenny Agee. She is one of the 7 trustees of the entire ANR organization. Yes, each region has trustees, but then the home office, for lack of a better term, has 7 trustees, 1 from each region. And Jenny Agee is one of those 7. She's also running the Ambassadors Program. We'll talk about that on Saturday. And she does so much more. I don't know if there's a record for who chairs the most committees or wears the most hats for ANR. But if there is a record for that, Jenny Agee has either won it or come darn close, certainly in the top 5, top 10, whatever. She does a whole lot for naturism and for ANR. So come back this Saturday. Part 1 of my interview with Jenny Agee, and then part 2 will be the Saturday after that, episode 175. And we are just glad that you've spent this time with us. Not quite an hour today, but in the neighborhood. We're kind of sort of close, as they say. And that's what we enjoy about these Wednesday shows. We get a lot of comments from the people here, the people who work here. They just say, Lisa and I are both, we just have a different, calmer demeanor on Wednesday shows. They're probably right. We tend to be wound a little tightly for the Saturday shows because it's exactly 1 hour. And so we have to fit everything in perfectly to make it work. Whereas Wednesday, we can just kick back and whatever. When the show is done, the show is done. If it's 30 minutes, that's fine. If it's 47 minutes and 23 seconds, that's okay. And today it will be obviously over 52 minutes, pushing 53, I think, by the time I'm done talking here. And that's okay, too. If we go 60 or more, that's fine. And so we are more relaxed, and we can just move and groove with the best naturism news out there. And we appreciate you very much for coming back every Wednesday and every Saturday. Today, episode 172. And again, come back Saturday for episode 173. Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 172 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, anyplace. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist. Have a great clothes-free day.